Hey guys, Peter here to do an EP review. Today I'm here to tell you about the latest from Insomnium, Argent Moon, out September 17th on Century Media Records. This release has 4 tracks, 23 minutes in length, and this is the band's third EP. They are an iconic Finnish melodic death metal band. What to expect from this EP, what to expect from these 4 songs. Before we go down track by track, I want to tell you that these tracks have a lot of things in common and they have a lot of differences. So I think that's how you have to break down this experience. I also think you have to look at these 4 songs in a vacuum of this EP. This is a creative outlet for the band, a way in which they can express themselves a lot more freely, a lot more creative, if you will, in a different manner that you not necessarily have when you're putting together a full-length album. There's a lot of restrictions that comes with a full-length record. You have to keep a sense of continuity, you have to keep a sense of balance across every single song, and you can't really deviate in the middle of the record and start a whole new journey. You have to continue down the road in which the album started. So there's a lot more that you can throw at the listener in an EP. There's a lot more that you can create. There's a lot more versatility of approach as far as song construction is concerned, as far as soundscape goes. And I think that's exactly what this EP is all about. It's about trying something different, something new, and really experiencing a different side of this band. Something that I feel like it's always been there, but perhaps is hidden underneath all the heaviness that their sound puts forward. Now, as far as these 4 songs, what are the similarities? What are the differences? I think the main similarities are that they all feel or come across, and they're all built almost as ballads. This is as close as to Insomnium ballads as you'll ever get. They really have all of that same DNA. It's there. It starts to become very noticeable as you progress down each song. They all start to merge well with one another because they all have that same essence to their sound. Another element that becomes very apparent that is a unifying factor across these 4 tracks is the use of acoustic guitars. If you like that more stripped down, melancholic sound of Insomnium, they really deliver it on these 4 songs. They really go down that well, and they use it quite a bit across all 4 tracks. I really feel like it's the red line that connects these songs, is the use of the acoustic guitar. Not just a little bit here, not just a little bit there. It becomes really an important part of how these songs are constructed, of how they sound, and how you feel towards them. The differences? Well, I would say there's a sense of growth. From the first track to the last track, there's definitely an evolution. The first song, The Conjurer, is perhaps the only song that I could see fitting on a regular Insomnium record without really upsetting the whole design of the album. It's the one that's closest to their traditional sound. Everything else from that point on starts to grow, it starts to morph, it starts to evolve, while still keeping some of the same elements alive. Like I said, the overall feel of the record, the use of acoustic guitars, you just start to see some changes coming in that allow you to better define the role of this release and better define the path in which you're traveling. I also think a very interesting element about these 4 songs that they represent 4 different characters, 4 different pieces, 4 different states of mind. And while they're independent from one to the other, when you bring them all together, they could create just one single picture. So this is another important element that merges the 4 tracks together, but at the same time keeps them separated. Now let's get into the song, starting off with The Conjurer. The acoustic opening on this song is just beautiful. I love the melancholy that it has. I love the sound that it carries. It really adds an earthy essence to the overall atmosphere of this track. I love how the song weaves itself between heaviness, the volume that comes with that heaviness, and then the more stripped down melancholic approach. It's really important. It creates the ebbs and flows that this track has. It makes the song feel a lot more dynamic because vocally it feels very consistent, it feels very linear, it feels very balanced. So it's a track that has a sense of blossoming, has a sense of progression, but most of that progression is really given to you by the music elements, how they come together, not necessarily from the vocals. From the vocals, everything stays very status quo. But it's a track that the more you get into it, the more you feel like you're shedding your skin, the more you feel like you're blossoming. There's a sense of growth, there's a sense of evolution. That evolution really starts here, and then you start to see the different sides of where that evolution is going to take you with the next 3 songs. The next one is the Reticent, and this is a track that has a great melancholic intro. I just love how this song starts. It keeps in the same vein as The Conjurer, so it keeps a lot of those same elements alive. They transports into this song, so you start to feel like you're in a sense of comfort here because you've heard this before, but then things start to change. Yanni comes in with clean vocals, and that really matches the peaceful parts of the sound that this song have, and then the track explodes with more heaviness, with more power, and Nilo comes in with his harsh vocals to really make that more accentuated. So it's a track that moves up and down with really incredible peaks and really deep valleys, both musically and vocally. When the sound is becoming a little bit more flat, a little bit more melancholic, the clean vocals come in and they really emphasize that essence. When the song starts to explode, to become a little bit heavier, the vocals come in with a little bit more power, a little bit more aggression to really emphasize that moment as well. So it's a song that's made out of moments that are represented on the vocal side and on the musical side. Next, you have the Antagonist, a track that has a very somber opening. This is something that's true of the two previous tracks, but becomes really well defined on this song. You see that somberness then also permeate into how the vocals come into the track, and the two really become one, and that is just a very dark moment of the track as it starts. It has this sense of really moving at a slow pace and really enjoying where you are within the moment. Melancholic, including a lot of darkness into that melancholy, and there's no sun or no light at sight. It's undeniable, the darkness, the melancholy that this song has, even in its most melodic moments. The acoustic guitar partnership with the clean vocals is outstanding. It becomes a little bit of the heartbeat of this song. When you hear the clean vocals and you hear that acoustic guitar in the background, the two become synonymous with one another, and you really gravitate towards that piece. It's a very well constructed, well delivered part of the track that just becomes very sonically pleasing in how it's processed and how you feel it. It really has that ballad shedding of the skin and really becoming that full-fledged ballad. As you progress down this track, you start to feel it. Still a very dynamic song. Still has peaks and valleys, but overall it feels very together. There's a sense of unison in those peaks and in those valleys, and because of that cooperation between the clean vocals and the acoustic guitar, you start to feel that you see all the shapes of a ballad coming to place. Last but not least, the Wanderer, a song that really feels like it's wandering towards the sunset. There's a sense of finality with this track, and this is the beauty of this EP. And like I said before, 4 different songs with some of the same elements that really offer you 4 different looks, but when you put them together, you have just one single picture. This is that final picture, or that final piece of that puzzle that really makes that picture clear. I love how it starts once again with an acoustic guitar, giving you that sense of welcoming into the track, something we've seen in the previous 3 songs. So this is an element that stayed very consistent, not just the acoustic guitar itself, but the intros to the songs become very consistent across all 4 tracks. It feels simple at times in terms of how this song comes across, because there's no peaks, no valleys. It just feels like it's a very balanced track, at least as it starts. It remains on its original path. It never really deviates. So it has a sense of coming together, has a sense of being very cohesive from that starting point. Eventually it starts to progress into something different. It starts to grow. It starts to become a little bit bigger, a little bit more robust. And that is when you start to feel like you're getting to the end. So it's almost like you're reaching that light at the end of the tunnel, and the light that started very faded in the distance becomes brighter and bigger, and that's how the song is designed. So that's the sense that it gives to the listener as you progress towards those final moments of the EP, those final moments of the song. This is it. This is Insomnium with Argent Moon, out September 17th on Century Media Records. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on the singles. Use the comment section below. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.